Have the Democrat and Republican Party switched places? Well, in many ways, yes, and in some ways, no. In the American South, the Democrats quite literally all became Republicans. So they literally switched sides. However, the Republican Party, one thing that has been consistent about it is from its founding, it's been the party of big business. It's always been the party of corporate welfare, the railroads, etc. Just, hey, we're going to take this money and we're going to give it to the railroads. And we're also not going to regulate the railroads so much, so they get to make all kind of profit off of it. And now we have things like private prison and SpaceX and big push to privatization, taking taxpayer money and giving it to major corporations. That's a big thing for the Republican Party. And like, how do they get away with that? And how do they get to say that they're all for free market? And well, they do try to cut taxes. They just increase the spending, which is not financially sound. But how do they get away with that? When I was a kid, I noticed that people would vote Republicans really based on the pro-life movement. You could pretty much do anything you wanted as long as you said you were against abortion. And Trump's movement has succeeded in that way. They got Roe versus Wade overturned. And so I think that's kind of the deal with the devil that the Republican Party has made. I mean, William F. Buckley, Republican intellectuals, they seem to all be gone. And there's not much consistency in their economic policy, and what they really think is quite contradictory and changes by the day. Like last week, they wanted no tariffs. Now all of a sudden, tariffs are really good for the economy. But the big one too is Trump wrote letters to pharmacy CEOs saying, "Hey, you need to lower your prices. It's going to lower price by presidential decree." And it's like, which it wasn't technically an executive order, but saying, "Hey, do this." And it's like Emperor Diocletian. That's like the Roman Empire tried that. We're going to write down this is how much something should cost. Can you imagine a Democratic president writing to Exxon saying, "Hey, you need to lower your gas prices"? I mean, that would just be met with ridicule. Yet, a Republican doing it and crickets. So I would suggest if you are a Republican, maybe you should pick another party if you actually care about, financial responsibility and consistency.